The word autopsy means to see for oneself, while there are also other words associated with it, such as postmortem, postmortem examination, necropsy, and dissection. It is only the term autopsy itself that correctly matches the aim of the procedure, which is to study and directly observe the body. Throughout history, various religions and cultures have assimilated their own after-death rituals, often including autopsies. But how did autopsy came about, and what are the influences that cultures and religions have on it? Well, the history of autopsy seems to go back as far as 300 BC in Greek, beginning with Aristotle and Herophilus, who started to dissect cadavers to see how the nerves and organs worked within the human body. This helped pave the way for Galen to discover that symptoms can be connected to any possible observations from autopsies. In 1761, Italian anatomist Giovanni Battista Morgani wrote a 5-volume book called On the Disease of Causes and Disease, which helped autopsies gain acceptance by modern anatomists in the West and leading autopsies to become a norm. Fast forwarding to 1910, Richard Cabot, an American physician, found out that the cause of death determined by doctors tended to be wrong in 40% of their diagnosis. Thus, he went on to explain that performing autopsy is important to improve the procedures of diagnosis and correcting medical misinformation. In 1987, with the emergence of toxicology reports, it allowed physicians to determine if poison or drugs was in the system of the deceased, thus contributing to death. Finally, in the early 2000s, researchers learned that CT scans, along with other modern technologies, can be used to go back and understand the causes of death for ancient people such as King Tut. With autopsies now becoming a norm in most society of different religions, there are also some cultures that object to having autopsies performed. To understand why some religions reject autopsies, we must learn about their perspective on death and the afterlife. Some religions believe that there is no afterlife. For example, in Taoism, it is believed that the body leaves the physical world, emptying the grave, only leaving behind sandals. In Iran, most people believe that when one dies, the individual will go into hiding, only to return later. In ancient Japan, emperors and empresses supposed death did not occur. They believed that they were a living god, or that they would return to the heavens. While some religions do not believe in afterlife, there are some religions that do believe so, and for that purpose, autopsies are often rejected as quick burials and respect for the deceased body is needed. For example, in Islamic religion, the people believe that the body has a certain wholeness, even during death, because the flesh is of God, and that no part of the body shall be harmed, removed, or used in donation. Thus, the body must be buried within 24 hours. Therefore, autopsies are rejected as they can interfere with the time. They also believe that harming a deceased person is the same as harming him while alive. However, recently, some Islam countries are becoming more accepting to post-mortem examination when an autopsy is necessary for justice. In Judaism, they believe that man is the created image of God, and the body should not be mutilated in any form, as it would be regarded with abhorrence. The body is believed to be a holy vessel encompassing the soul, and that the soul is still near the body even after death. Thus, an autopsy is painful for the soul and wrong, as the body should be treated with dignity through life and death. However, there is a Jewish law that allows an autopsy to be performed only if it can provide for a greater cause, such as a cure for an epidemic. Similarly, in Buddhism, autopsies are objected as they believe in reincarnation. Therefore, the body must not be touched, moved, or disrespected in any way, as it could impact the quality of their next life. In Hinduism, people object to having an autopsy being done for the fear that the body would be touched by non-Hindu hands and that it would tarnish the body. Although there are cultures that reject autopsies due to their beliefs and practices, there are cultures, specifically those that fall under Christianity, that have a more unattached conceptual belief between life and death, thus are more accepting to have an autopsy done on the deceased. Christian belief is that the body is a vessel, and after death, the soul is disconnected from the body. The soul is then either sent to heaven for eternal life or hell for eternal damnation. The family is the one that makes the decision whether an autopsy should be performed or not. And so, because of the different beliefs of various cultures, it can be safe to say that coroners must take into consideration of a culture's understanding of how death and the afterlife work. Knowledge of religions and cultural perspectives of autopsies should be taught to coroners so that fewer mistakes can be made. Lastly, with modern technology, less invasive autopsies can be performed for those with religious prohibition against autopsies. The word autopsy means to see for oneself, while there are also other words associated with it.